Hey, everybody. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
7 o'clock on the head, right?
On the head.
It is early you're a beggar, late you're a bum. Hey, no offense to anybody. Starla Doak, hey, good evening to you was the first one in. Hello, hello. Psalms 125 says, good evening from Florida, my Kansas friends and everyone listening tonight. It's been a busy day. Hey, I just got notified I was live. They don't happen very much. Psalms 125 goes on to say that they've been busy planting trees and garden planting, getting ready for some spring. It is the season of life, is it not? And there's stuff, we're going to share a lot of that stuff tonight. There's stuff, growing and being born and just all around us, which is super exciting. More importantly, though, Silver Lining says a bowl of cherry ice cream would be great today. Hello, freedom friends. And when Silver Lining comes to visit us, she really likes cherry ice cream. So we try to make sure there's cherry ice cream for her. But today is her 29th birthday. So we wanted to make sure that we wish her a happy 29th birthday. And ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Silver Lining.
Dear Silver Lining.
Happy birthday to you. Many more. All right. Tamara Smith, good to see you. The greatest name on the internet.
Half Bubble Off Fun
is in the house today. Said picked almost half of the collards today. Planted some more jasmine along the fence line, hoping it brings in the bees. The Terminator's in the house. How are you, Terminator? City Greens, welcome in. What do we got here? Skates Girl, how are you? The beautiful MJ from Wisconsin is here. And right behind her was Mr. Nitos, or Mrs. Nitos, depending on which one it is. Nostradamus is in the house. Good to see you. Redneck, how are you, my friend? Oh, look at that. The beautiful Lois Wesley's in the house. We've got some pictures from her in the live tonight. Let's see here. One step closer. How are you? Gypsy's in the house. The king himself. King Jeff, Juicy, Hefty, Lefty, Amazon, Mud Dauber, Slick. You get too many more of them. I'm not going to be able to remember them. RN, good to see you. Mary Michelle, welcome in. Parrot-eyed Stanley. Everybody needs a parrot-eyed Stanley. My buddy Mo's in the house. Good to see you. Stan Guthrie. Hello, hello. Let's see here. Carrie Davis. Good to see you as always. What does that say? She says, I don't know if I get it. Howdy, I've never been kicked out of the White House. Oh, we'll talk about that tonight too. Yeah. Okay. Where are we at here? Look at all those happy birthdays. I love you guys. Tina Conkle, good evening. Welcome in. Pack Rat, there is not a single live that's would be alive without
a back rat.
That's a fact. Jane, good evening to you. Kent says, evening all. Hope everyone's enjoying the beautiful warm weather. Hard to believe it was a negative degree temps just a little over a week ago. Yeah, I took a picture that's in the live tonight of my frozen over pond, and yet it's 70 degrees outside. Crazy how it works, huh? David Strom, happy Friday, 60 degrees in Spokane, Washington. Helen, good evening, welcome in. And Kent, welcome in. Let's see here. I'll reach the bottom at some point here. Hey, Rick, what's going on, buddy? Jane, good to see you as well. Sons of Hack says, howdy, what a beautiful day. Has one more baby goat total of 6 now. Yeah, I've got some pictures of your baby goats in the live tonight. Dana Randall, good to see you as well. ACM Homestead, hey, what's up, guys? Good to see you for sure. Let's see here. I think I said hi to Starla Doak, but if I didn't, Starla, good evening. Keep trucking down the road here. I think I'm caught up. Pretty cool. Well, everybody, it is spring, and I don't know about you guys, but I have the spring fever. I can tell you that I have on several occasions just walked out and went walking through the food forest. And, everything here is still pretty dead. Starting to get little stuff to start to pop up a little bit, but just to kind of take in all that vitamin D. We've been kind of cooped up.
Yes.
Kind of cooped up because you're still outside, but you're cooped up a lot. So I'm super, super excited. Hey, Lisa, welcome in. Yeah. Super excited
to kind of look around, see what's budding, see what's kind of starting.
Yeah. And then kind of get a game plan too, because, as Mike Tyson said, plan only lasts until you get punched in the mouth, right? And that's true for homesteading 100% of the time because, things happen and then you've got to kind of scramble. And sometimes you scramble on your own and sometimes you scramble because your wife cons you. But either way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes.
Hey, Dave and Sonia in Michigan's in the house. Good to see you, Dave. Good to see you, Sonia. One more rock. Hello, hello. Okay. I think I got it. All right, good. Hey, what you got first on your list you'd like to talk about tonight? Hey, consider friends, welcome in.
Well, I got most of the sanding done in pod 4, and I finally got a chance to put some primer on the wall. I got the closet primed, so all the shelves are primed, the walls are primed, the ceiling already had primer on it. So
we might actually get to move in sometime next year.
I'm actually putting primer on part of the wall. I thought, okay, I'm getting ready for this wall too. And then there was a closet door in front of the entertainment where the TV's going. It's not an entertainment center, but where the TV's going. And I said, hey, can you help me move these doors because they're really heavy? They're the sliding doors for the bathroom and the closet. And so he pulled them away, and I was like, I need to mud that. So I do have to I mudded it. I have to sand around it, but other than that, the walls are ready to.
I wanted to welcome Instigator in. He says, I'm just here for the good news.
There's quite a bit of that.
Yeah. Hey, Zeus, welcome in as well. I think I got everybody. Did I miss somebody? I don't think so. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So I did get I actually got the rollers and the paintbrushes and the scrapers and all of that out. So I am on to a good start.
Yep.
But I have also started taxes. So I'm not sure how much sanding and painting I'm going to get done. I had an email, or Tag had an email that he said, you need to handle this right now. And so I stopped what I was doing, and it was from the accountant that said, I need to know what this were. And a lot of it, he's like, oh, I know what this went for, because that was an amount that, an amount of money that was, he would remember, like, oh, that goes to that, and oh, this goes to that. But there he's like, what is check like 1416? And it's like, I don't know.
So I have to register.
So yeah, he's like, you have to go answer the rest of these.
Hey, Mrs. Hacks, welcome in. I'm going to show some pictures from your guys' farm tonight. Oh, cool. Look at that. Nito says, hey, Tag, our batteries inverter will be delivered Monday. Excellent. The racking system has been ordered, we were told. Excellent.
Wow.
I can't wait to have you guys done. It's been a source of heartburn for me, but I can't even imagine what it's been for you. Can't even imagine. Hey, Potpourri for Life with Laura's in. Laura, how are you? Good to see you. Long time no talk, huh? I just had a conversation just the other night with her. Louise says, B, sounds like you need a women's painting party. Actually,
I'm kidding. I am just, I feel it. I can feel it. I am so close.
Well, if you guys want to hear a funny story. So right now, as we're in this live, Jess from American Roots is in pod 4 priming one of the rooms in there.
She's actually wiping a shelf.
Is she?
Shelves down.
Yeah. So we're up on the live lollygagging on vacation.
And I've got Jess wiping shelves down in the upstairs of pod 4.
Yeah.
Because pod 4 is a level 1 and a level 2.
Yeah, and it's good, guys. And we spend a lot of time here in the community working with each other. I work with people from different homesteads all the time, building whatever it is we build or doing whatever. So it's not abnormal, but I just like to give her kind of a little bit of a hard time. Oh my goodness, look at that.
She needs a lot of help.
We are blessed. Hello, my name is Jen, and I'm a hoarder.
Yes, Jen, welcome.
Yeah, Jen,
you're in the right place, Jen.
I actually, Jen, took a quote from you off of Twitter that's in the live tonight. I thought it was well said.
Uh-oh.
I know, right? She's right now. She's going, uh-oh. Uh-oh, what did I do? Uh-oh, what did I do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's good. I'm excited to have pod 4 done. I will believe it when I see it, but
it's getting better every week.
Yeah.
Now.
Skanes Girl says, don't be like me. Hit that thumbs up, folks.
Thank you, Skanes.
What else you got, bud?
I mean, normal, just everyday stuff, right? Or every week stuff. I have to spend a day doing laundry, spend time ironing clothes for you to look nice so you can look pretty.
I don't struggle looking.
And then been working on taxes. So, oh, there was one thing I wanted to say. So I thought I told you that Moo, our cow Moo, was due in March, and I guess she's not doing March. She's doing May. Lou, right? May.
Lou,
I had in my calendar that she went over there August 3rd. So counting how long's that gestation period take? Do you know?
It's funny
Do you know
to
what
me,
the gestation
and
is?
we're so blessed that we have a Lou in our life. The Lou crew is a strong crew, and we are so blessed to have it. But it's funny that Bee has to rely upon her neighbors to tell her when her cows are going to get birth.
For such intimate details. Yes, it is. I call her with all kinds of stuff. Oh my gosh, look, this is what's going on. Here's a picture.
Yeah. Camera says 9 months.
And then sometimes I'm like, hey, can you just come over here and look at what I've got going on, because I need help. And she's like, yes, I'll stop over.
Lou says you're correct. Good guess,
So
babe.
May.
Yeah. So then
I told you March though.
So when is Lady due?
12th. After that.
Oh, so we got a long time.
Yeah, so because
That's
Moo was right away, and then Lady was a minute later, a week later, right?
Someday we'll have baby cows. We don't know when.
Yes, May. Moo due, due to Lou. Do you know Lou when Moo is due?
Moo do you knew do to Lou. Carrie Davis says hoarders make the best preppers, and they do.
Yeah. If you have one canner, you might as well have 6.
Yeah, guys, I'll give you a little piece of advice about people who want to homestead or want to live off grid and want to do those things. It's a game of management.
Yes.
It is 100% a game of management. And the better you manage and the better you understand things like when your cow is due, the better homesteader you are.
Well, then you can be prepared. Maybe I told you March because I wanted you to be ready by May. I don't know why I was thinking March.
Okay, so you guys, listen, this is really,
I don't know.
No, wait a second. This is really, really important. You just heard Bee admit that she manipulates me to her game.
That's not, I was trying to make sure that it was ready.
You guys heard it.
No, I don't know why I thought it was March.
Yeah, you guys heard it. You heard it. Bee admits she manipulates me for her game.
Prepared. Be prepared.
You're a dork.
That's all I had.
That's it?
Because, I mean, taxes are like all day long.
Yeah,
looking at paper. And then I found out too, so like I'm going through paperwork and I'm like, oh, hey, these were like dental claims that were filed that were never paid on and never, like, they were like, oh, hey, we're not. So we go to a dentist who is different than other dentists. He's one that will remove metal from your mouth if, like, he's capable of that. That's a whole big procedure. The amalgam fillings, whatever, the silver fillings from your mouth. So anyway, he doesn't accept insurance, so we have to pay up front, and then he will submit the claim. Well, then our insurance paid them, and the dentist called me and said, hey, they sent me checks and they're not supposed to. So you need to call them and tell them to look at line this and look at line this. And there's directions that it's the provider's supposed to pay the patient. It's been 6 months. I've called them 3 times and they said, oh, well, we will get right on this. I said, well, is there anything I can do to make it happen, sooner than another 6 months? And he said, well, I don't know. I'm sending an email now. So I spent time trying to get reimbursed for dental claims that were just cleanings and x-rays but
Lou says she's sending you a Dexter gestation calendar and I'll order you a breeding notebook that will be in your belated birthday present.
Oh, I didn't ever know I needed a breeding notebook.
Oh my God.
Gestational calendar.
There's been some talk inside the community about all of the different homesteads coming together and creating a homesteading journal.
Like a book that.
Yeah, a book that has all of the things that we do, because there's lots that we do, right?
And a gestation calendar would
be a good part of that.
really cool.
Yeah, it'd be a good part of that. Yep, for sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Well, guys, here on not so much on our homestead because B can't get the dates right, but on most people's homesteads, there's lots of things that are being born, and
oh,
so,
come on now. One of them was a total surprise. So
what was a surprise?
one of the birds was like, "Oh, hey, look, we have a baby." And it was a little earlier than we had expected.
Hey, Rhonda, welcome in. So I sent out a message earlier today that just to a lot of people in the community that just said, I'd love to see any of your guys' births, anything that's going on.
You want to see the births?
Yeah, the life, whether it's chickens or goats or whatever it is, whatever happens to be going on or across the homesteads. And so I got a whole bunch of pictures flooded in because there's a lot of that stuff, going on. Hey, Ryan the Matador, how are you? Good to see you, bud. Yeah. Tamara Smith says I have 108 eggs in the incubator. We won't start incubating.
Oh my goodness.
Another
March.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks we'll start incubating. Yeah, somewhere along there we will. But so anyway, I thought I'd share some pictures with you guys. So there's some sheep that were born, and those belong to Hacks for the Homestead. And that little beautiful baby girl Dexter cow right there, that belongs to Lou. I think her name's Marie. Did I get that right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's right. So, which is pretty cool. Look at these pictures. There she is. That's the fabulous Lou, and she's standing
holding that cow.
Yeah, well, she's a savage. And that's with our buddy Russ. Russ is an old timer that lives in this part of the country, and he builds anything with a bulldozer. He's quite the artist. He's the guy that built my pond.
There's a cow named after him.
Yep. Lou and the King actually named one of their cows after Russ, which is pretty cool, right?
Look at that baby laying there.
Yeah. Lou says, I don't typically allow this type of birthing, so next year it will be different. And her name is His Grace Farm by Marie.
My Marie, yeah.
By My Marie. Yep. Which is pretty cool. But look how beautiful. Look at that life. And I just absolutely love, to see those kinds of things because, new life. It's just absolute new life. Oh, sorry. They were talking to each other.
There's dogs in the background. What's going on?
Yep. New life always makes me smile. Yep. But guys, there's way more, right? So this is another one that was had out at that same farm. Yep. Look how beautiful they are.
Another little red one.
Yep. Another little red one. Is
that a heifer?
Yeah. Oh, Louise said after Russ's mom. That's why they named it.
Oh, Marie.
How wonderful is that?
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely wonderful. Yep. Ryan says, Finn loves your babies, Miss Lou. Everybody does. They're the nicest animals ever. Yeah. RN says, Tag, what is your honest opinion of BOI beneficial ownership information? Can you ask the question another way so I make sure I understand exactly what you're talking about? Is a beneficiary of what type of ownership? Like what specific thing are we talking about? I'd be happy to answer it. Let's keep it trucking. Look at that.
My goodness.
Look at all those baby sheep. Yep, running around. Look how cute he is.
On top of the dog.
Yeah. I included that picture because those livestock guardian dogs are savages. They really are. I mean, they have a job and they're very good at their job, but they're also kind, and because
tolerant.
Because that dog sees that sheep as part of him or her, right? He's absolutely, no threat, to him. They'll just lay right there in it and just absolutely beautiful and amazing. Now this particular farm is right across the street from mine, and they have lots and lots and lots of sheep and lots and lots and lots of guardian dogs.
Yeah. And birds.
And lots of things. Yeah.
Lots of things.
Yeah. Lots of things.
There's a lot of noises.
Nostra says BOI government overreach demanding to know who owns every company. Oh, got it. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, so here's the thing about, and I don't totally want to derail this, but I think there should absolutely be a legal process where knowing who owns a company matters. because at the end of the day, without that, what you get to do is you get to do a lot of laundering. You get to do a lot of that stuff. Now, I don't think that they should be able to come in and know everything, but I think that there should be, when you file as a legal corporation or as a legal company, to get your tax status and to get those kinds of things, I think there should be some of that. But I've never really understood that whole thing anyway, because, I own companies, and when I file the company, it asks right on the form, whether it's an LLC, an S Corp, whatever it is, it says your name. So I don't really understand how companies are getting away with not putting their name on it when every single incorporation document I've ever filled out, which, guys, is a ton, by the way,
has your name.
It has my name on it, so this doesn't make sense to me. Tamara says, I want some Dexters. And Louise says, come on up. Yeah. Tamara says, I'm coming with skeins in May and bringing a load in the horse trailer. Yeah,
So she can take a load back.
I wish I had the property for larger animals. 1 acre is not enough for more than what I have going on. Yeah, especially when you're talking about cows, and these kind of things take space. We've got 40 acres and 3 Dexters, and I don't know that it's enough.
No, not. We still bring in hay. Yeah,
we're still buying some hay. So yeah, but isn't that beautiful? I thought those were just absolutely incredible pictures. And then these are from Hacks for the Homestead. These are their baby goats that were just born. How beautiful is that? So Mrs. Hacks is in the live, and Sons of Hacks is in the live, and this is.
Oh, that's inside the heat barrel. Yeah. So that's a barrel with the heater on top.
Yeah.
And it's red because it's just the light.
Yep. Yep. And they're all just sitting there, all keeping warm.
And then one looks like on a leather couch.
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys are interested in ingenuity, Hacks for the Homestead, which has a YouTube channel, are very inventive. Excuse me. They're really good at taking care of their animals, and a lot of times in very out of the box kind of ways, but they're really good at what they do. And so I'd really encourage you guys to check it out.
Hacks.
Hey, Nurse Wang, what's up? How are you? Good to see you. Yeah, and look at all those beautiful babies. I think they're great too. And this is just the time of year, it's like almost every day I want to go up to the gardens, or, I want to go up to the food forests. I want to go up to them and
check it out
and see what's coming. And, I've been ordering, B did not know this at the time, but when the season stopped last year, I started ordering fruit trees, because when you order them from places like Starks Brothers, for example, which is where I order a lot of mine from, they don't ship them until they're ready, right?
Until they're ready to plant.
Until they're ready to plant. So because
until your area is ready to plant.
Yeah. And so because trees are expensive, I would get on, and like, let's say in August, I would order, 2 cherry trees. And then in September, I would order, 3 apple trees and whatever. And just kept trying to.
Oh, no. So then come like April, there's going to be like
March.
A whole bunch.
Yeah. Second week in March, they will all be here, and they will all be here at one time.
Yeah.
And so B and other people who are listening to this, who are going to garden this year, better get their shit together, because it's only going to get worse. Right?
Yeah.
You agree with that?
It'll be fun.
Yeah. Quick update on Violet. So Violet is doing good. She's still got an open wound on her stomach because it drains. She's still on antibiotics. And but she's doing good. She's running. She's doing her job. She's playing. She's doing all of those kind of things. So she has done good. But if you guys remember, after she was shot, I told you guys that her being shot was my fault. It was my fault because I didn't have all the fencing up. And so if she wanted to go somewhere, she could pretty much just roam acres, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of acres of woods, because that's what surrounds me. And there really wasn't much to stop her. And so I committed to putting a fence up. And so I wanted to show you guys, this is my property. And so the goal was, if you can see the yellow lines, my goal was to fence that entire thing. And that's 6,000 feet of fencing, to get it all up. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I have 100% of the fence up. All 6,000 feet is fenced. And
that's the one she got out of.
Yep. That is it. And so I thought I'd share with you guys just a couple pictures of the fence. This would be on the east side of my property. It's right kind of up towards the corner, but there you go. That's the same east side, but a lot further distance away. So hopefully they will get out less. I don't have a lot of confidence because although the fence is 4 feet tall, I promise you, those dogs could jump every bit of that fence.
Yeah.
If they want to.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of hoping that they don't want to. What's fence do for you?
It makes me feel safer. I mean, just a peace of mind to know that they're not probably running. Every time the gunshots go, I mean, we hear gunshots a lot around here because people are always practicing or shooting at things. And so every time I would hear it, I would be like, oh no, I got to go call for them and get them to where I can see them. And so I feel a little at ease, a little less stress about them being out and about. And you know what I've noticed is I see them more. You know, at night here, this has been for a couple of days now, totally fenced in, and they're not as barky, I think.
I can hear them barking right now.
I can't. I don't think that's ours. That's far away.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that it makes me feel safer. Makes me feel less anxiety about them running around.
Yep, it's woven field fence timber. That is correct. Back up, wrong one. Now it's all conjoined with Orlando, and I moved away to North Florida in 2008. I must have missed the first comment. Let's see here. Fence equals potential trellis for blackberries. Well, we did that with her gardens when I fenced all of them a couple years ago. We went and just put a blackberry or raspberry every foot all the way around both of them. So she's got blackberries and raspberries going to be coming out of her ears. Not really going to know. Yeah, not really going to know.
But no, yeah, this fencing allows me to also plant stuff along it.
Yeah, Tim Riley, welcome in and thank you for your compliment. Hey, Karen, welcome in. And Kaima, I hope I said that right, from Maui. Yeah, Hawaii is such a beautiful place. B and I got married in Kauai, Hawaii. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. Yeah, Jesus says, I was planning on blackberry trellises for the fence bordering the road, the kind with thorns. I think that is super, super smart. Yep. I always tell people, you know, the way the world's going, big fences and tall trees is the answer to a lot of problems.
I would hate to run through thorned blackberries. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, we talk about, you know, our food forest. I really consider it a nursery because it's a place we get to grow things up and then split them and take them different places. And so as time wears on, I'm hoping to take my entire, let me go back to that other picture so I can show you guys right there. I'm hoping to put food in every piece of the forest, you know, to start just planting it everywhere versus just in the food forest that it's in. But anyway, that's what I'm hoping to do. What do you think? Well, I guess I got some more pictures of that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Another fence.
Yeah. So what I did is I concreted steel pipes instead of using hedge posts and then put T-posts in between them on an 8-foot spread. So there's a T-post every 8 feet. There's about, you know, 8 of them. And then there's a steel post posted into the concreted into the ground with 240 pounds of concrete dumped in each hole. But the good news is hopefully my dogs will quit getting out.
Yep.
And that will make life good, right?
Yes. Even just less often, you know, I mean, because it was getting to the point where you drive up to the fence or you drive up to the front of the property and the one dog would chase you up there. And then if there was a car driving past, she would bolt across the road and chase the car. And then I'm like, there she goes.
Yeah, you're not getting her back.
She's not coming back to me.
But now that we have the fence, it's created a new problem. Right. Tell them about your fiascos in the morning. And
so, well, I had tried to just get out the gate and she would follow me up to the gate. And then I would have to get out of the car, open the gate, drive through, get out of the car, close the gate. And by that time, she's already out of the gate because she's like, oh, gate's open, run. Well, one day she had to have been hiding because I pulled through the gate and I'm like, nobody's even up here. And I just took off. I just drove and I look over and she's running right next to the truck, just directly next to me and running as fast as she can down the road. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Stop, turn around in the neighbor's driveway, drive around, get back to the front of the house, call her back into the perimeter, shut the gate. Like, how did you get out?
Yeah.
She's sneaky.
Yeah. And so now what I have to do is build a series of fence that allows B not to let them out. Because the problem is they'll run out of the gate. I know, right? It's a fiasco. But here's the good news. Like right now, the gate's locked.
And they're
not going anywhere tonight.
In.
Yeah. But B tries to bribe them with little cookies.
I tried a cookie.
Yeah. What I do is when I go up there and I know she's going to run, I sit with the gate closed in my pickup and I wait for a car to drive by. Because once the car drives by, she takes off after the car inside the fence. But she takes off after the car and once she starts running after the car, I jump out, open the gate, drive out, close the gate behind me so she can't get out. But
you use the people driving past as bait.
Pretty much. That's correct.
Oh my gosh.
Funny things that we do, but I've got an idea figured out to where I can, kind of create like a lock system where if she gets through, she'll just call her back if she can't get on the road. But I've got to build that amongst a million other things. And since we're talking about building things, so for those of you guys who know Jess from American Roots, if you don't, go over to American Roots on YouTube, subscribe. They're great people. But Jess from American Roots and B decided to scam me, and I caught him.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. So check this out. Maybe, and if I'm wrong, you guys tell me. But I think I got scammed. So I've been getting a lot of baked goods lately. So I get the fence all finished up. Everything's great. And I got this beautiful cinnamon cake. And guys, it was just soft and moist, cooked on the wood stove. It was just perfect.
You're welcome.
It was wonderful. Ate it all up. And then the next day I get a strawberry cake.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And
I eat it all up. And so life's really good. And then it gets dumped on me. This was a couple weeks ago, but then it gets dumped on me that, hey, baby, I really want to fence around my food forest.
That is not how that happened.
Yeah. So B, there's American Roots link right there.
That is not how that happened.
B and Jess were plotting behind the scenes on how to get me to put a fence, not just a fence, an 8-foot tall fence so the deer can't jump it.
Yeah.
Around the food forest, and they bribed me.
No, that's not what happened.
With baked goods.
No, that's not what happened.
That's what happened.
No, you went up to the guard. You were like, "Oh, it's busting the life," and you were skipping down the.
You can't even say that with a straight face.
Lane of the food forest, and you were like, "Look at all this stuff growing," and then you were like, "Wait, what's this damage? This is from rabbits. Oh my gosh, look at this damage. This is from deer. Look at this damage. I paid for all of these, and they're being ruined by all of this wildlife that's trampling through the yard." And then you were like, "Why are these crocus bulbs at my front door?"
Please read Instigator's comment because he's got it 100%.
No,
hook, line, and cinnamon rolls. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's not how it happened.
Hey, Squatchy, welcome in. How are you? Good to see you, bud.
The fence was your idea.
Yeah. Leela, good to see you as well. Yeah. And Jen says, and the problem is.
You talked about this last week. You said, guys,
I know.
I've solved a problem for B. I'm going to put up a fence.
What I didn't realize is that I got manipulated to that point. I'm fine doing it. Well, it took me a little bit.
You didn't get manipulated.
I got manipulated.
That's not accurate at all.
Yeah.
No.
Rick says, Dad, build a secondary fence and gate connected to the gate as a barrier to keep the dogs. And yeah, I'm going to. But that actually there's a whole nother issue there that's going on there too, which is
delivery.
Like we have a trash dumpster. And so I have to leave the gate open. So I don't want my trash dumpster out at the road because I know what will happen. Everybody and their brother will use my dumpster.
Yes.
So I've got to keep it back. And then also UPS deliveries, FedEx deliveries, all of those kind of things. So I need to create an area for that anyway. So, which I will do that. And the truth is, I don't mind a bit building a fence around the food forest. It's important. It's going to help a lot of things, but I totally got scammed.
Yeah, no, that's not accurate. Yeah. That's not how it works.
Yeah, I did.
And the deliveries, we have to really be like for the low boy trailers that come through here. We have to make it to where they can turn around too.
Yeah.
So it's not just like a FedEx truck or an Amazon Prime van. It's a
semi
huge
sometimes.
Truck. Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah. Son of Hack says, hey, tag Stinky Flowers and Billy's bone sauce from Perma Pasture Farms will fix the deer problem. No fences needed. It's not just deer, it's rabbits.
Rabbits and
Right. It's so many different things that pressures to get in there. Not just that, the chickens. As they free range, then they go in there and they start digging stuff up, and we have to keep them kicked out. So it's a whole lot more than just deer, but deer is why it's going to be 8 feet tall. Yeah, Luis says, I cannot believe the dogs allow deer and other wildlife on our property. They 100% allow deer and other wildlife on the property. It's probably why they're sleeping. Who knows? Yeah, Tim Ryan says, holler at your bud, Billy Bond. His bone sauce goes on wood surfaces and deters deer and rabbit. We actually have some bone sauce in hand that we can use.
that's a lot of bone sauce. I've got
Yes, that's a problem.
40 acres,
It's a
man.
big space. Yep. You can also do what Living Traditions did by building 2 no-climb fences going parallel with each other, 5.5 to 6 feet apart. Deer won't jump, poor depth perception. We thought about this, and B actually brought this up to me too about, maybe getting 2 fences, but maybe I just see it wrong, but that's twice the poles. That's, it's not twice the fencing, because for me, if I do a single fence, it has to be 8 feet tall. I got 2 runs of fence anyway.
Right. You're going to put one row of fence on top of the other row of fence.
8 feet tall.
How are you going to get that up there?
You let me worry about the details.
And then you don't have to stretch it then up there, right?
Mm-hmm. Pope Reflects says, what about a dog run that gives them lots of room to run? Well, here's the thing. They run 40 acres now, and so if I can't move the dogs between the paddocks, if they don't have access to that space, then they're not doing their job protecting the livestock. Right. So I don't really want to lock them up, because then that prevents them from doing what they're supposed to be doing.
I'd rather them run. Yeah. They can get into the cow paddocks. They can get into cow paddocks.
I'm going to open my email here, because Instigator sent me something somewhere in here. Yeah, there we go.
Come on.
I got to show everybody this. Hold on. I got to get it up here. This will be great. You guys will like this. Okay.
The instigator himself is instigating.
Yeah, it's awesome. There we go. What do you guys think about that?
Hook, line, and cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, I like that t-shirt. You ought to put those for sale. I'd buy one.
Cinnamon
rolls?
Cinnamon rolls.
Nobody said he could spell.
Cinnamon. Hook, line, and cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, hook, line, and cinnamon rolls. Yep. It looks like B is going for a ride in the tractor bucket. Yeah, Brian says, isn't Tag like 8 feet tall? It's barely a stretch for him to hang a fence that high. Yeah, I can reach 8 feet. So it'll be at the top, but yep, I can absolutely do it. Yeah. Yeah, Conserve Friend likes that. Yep, Pockery says it was a quick. Yes, it was quick.
It was a quick.
Yeah, and Pack Rat makes sure to help Instigator learn how to spell cinnamon.
It's not cinnamon, it's cinnamon.
No, but Pack Rat showed him how to spell cinnamon. So Pack Rat is investing in Instigator's educational development.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Skins Girl said, I tried to use AI for an image, but it looked like something out of a horror movie. AI is becoming very interesting. Indiana Mike, and you guys know Indiana Mike. I don't think he's on tonight, but he he's a good buddy of mine, and he's been playing a lot, asking AI questions, and some of the answers that he gets are definitely interesting, for sure. So anyway, so you guys can see the poles leaning. So I have started digging holes and setting poles to go around her food forest.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
Holes and poles.
Holes and poles. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's 3 at each gate.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 4 gates there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's 4 on the other side too, right?
Yep. Says, is this a Christian channel? How would you answer that? Because you're Christian.
I'm Christian, but I would say this is not a Christian channel.
Yeah. I struggle with my faith. I would consider myself a Christian, just not a very good one. But I would say that 90% of the people who are in the chat tonight are Christian, and 90% of our community here where we live is probably Christian. Probably the right number, would you say? 90%? It'd be a big number.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it'd be a big number.
Yeah, I would imagine the majority.
Yeah. Yep. I'm really glad you asked the question though, because I've tried to be very honest about my faith and not sugarcoat it in any way, because I just think that lying about your faith is like the worst sin. Like not being honest about it. So yeah.
Sin is sin though.
Yes.
Like,
yeah. Ryan says, this is an everybody channel. We are not here to differentiate, but include. I love that. Yeah. And everybody is welcome. Hey, Permatopia Farm, how are you? Good to see. I hope all is well with you. I hope some of the stuff that you guys have been dealing with is getting smoother. I hope that. We are struggling with the term Christian. Yep. Psalm says, yeah, kind of like the new Trump Gaza 30-second clip with Trump gold statue. Creepy as well. There's a lot creepy. Yeah, Dana says, I struggle. I struggle too. I do. We have a lot of folks who believe more of a relationship than a religion rhyme thing. Type thing. She corrected it later on. So we have a lot of folks who believe more of a relationship than a religion type thing. And that's a lot easier for me to get aboard with too, by the way. What are you going to use for fencing? Chicken wire, backed candle panels, or something else for the small critters? Yeah, so we'll chicken wire the bottom 4 feet, but I'll field fence it from the ground up 8 feet, something like that. Game Girl says, I think we all fall short of the glory. Some just further than others, and by others, I mean me. Yeah. Like I said, guys, I've been very, very direct about, where I sit with belief and those kinds of things. But I'm working on it. I'm trying really, really hard to, be a great man and to be a great husband and to be a great father and to be the things that I would think God would want you to be. And, but I am not perfect by no means. Yeah. We are not saved by works or fruit. We are saved by the Lord Jesus Christ, death, burial, resurrection. He died for our sins. That's such an interesting point. And again, I don't necessarily want to derail, but I think that what God would want most of all is not he's not on some ego trip. I think what he wants most of all is for you to be good to your fellow man and to be a good example and work hard. And, I think God will help them help themselves in a lot of ways, and, but anyway, that's kind of why I struggle, right? Because I get into these spots where organized religion wants to tell me that it has nothing to do with any of that. It only has to do with, like, to your point, the resurrection. But to me, what my heart really tells me is that I can preach it all I want, but if I don't live it, it doesn't matter.
Those are Sunday Christians.
Yeah. And so I just get into that, that weird space. Lou says, tag you and be live out your faith. Lots of people don't even begin with that step. This is kind of what I mean, that I think if you live it, you'd really, really make it important to yourself to be a good man or to be a good woman, to be a good wife, to be a good husband, to be a good father, to be a good mom, to be a good friend, right? I think those are the building blocks of what God really wants, not for you to go to church on a Sunday. I'm not totally going to offend somebody, but I don't think what he wants is for you to go to church on Sunday, give the church 10% of your income, and then go back to cheating on your wife. I just don't. You know what I mean? I think the action speaks more than the rest of that. But again, in fairness, I totally struggle with it. I'm all over the place on it. And someday it may become clearer.
I don't know why you would think that you would make somebody mad by saying that. That's exactly the point.
Well,
so
yeah.
Those are Sunday Christians. When you go to church and you say you do the right thing and you give your tithe, but yet you turn from him through the week and do as thy will. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a great child of Christ is someone who lives it every single day. That's what I think. One's walk is individual. Some walk slower and some walk faster. And then there's people like me that trip along the way, but we are at different points of understanding, 100%. That's discipleship. Discipleship comes after salvation. Salvation and discipleship are not the same thing. Look at that. I definitely fall short. Packrat says, true, we will be known by our works. By their fruits ye will know them. Living is the work. Living it is works, and your faith. We're both on the right path, my friend. Hey, TV test pattern. How are you? Yep. I think someone just passed gas. Let's see here. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. Reading and following his word for ourselves, and going by doctrine of men, twisting his words around. I agree with you, Tag. Yeah, I'm falling behind here. I'm just going to scroll down here. But yeah, and again, I struggle with it. Someday I'll maybe won't struggle with it, but today it's where I am. One more rock says it's a lifelong process. It absolutely 100% is. Oh yeah, what else? I built some swells for B. She got 2 more swells added to her food force today. You guys can't tell because it's the dead season, but when the spring and the summer and the fall are here, this is full of green and trees and hey, you said sorry to derail the stream. You didn't derail it. I actually appreciate you asking the question because, again, it's been very important to me to be honest and direct about how I feel about it. And I'm not going to sway from what I feel. I'm not going to exaggerate what I feel. I'm not going to overstate or understate. I'm just going to be true to exactly who I am. And it's going to have to just work out like that. That's all I can say about that, you know. Potpourri says, tag, you're authentic. God embraces that. See, I think, again, I think that that's really what God wants. It's not, I don't think God has an ego, nor do I think he needs you to fear him. Just saying. I just don't. Anyway, I built some swells, so we're going to get in here and we're going to get some stuff planted. As I mentioned, B's got lots of stuff coming. So can't wait, right?
Yep.
We just got to get it in, and I'll get those fence posts concreted in, and I'll get the gates hung and the fence built eventually. If maybe by the time I get this project done, B will have pod 4 painted. Maybe. You think?
Maybe. Or the tax is done.
Yeah.
One of the two. For this year.
For this year, yeah. Seems like it never stops.
Every year.
Check this picture out, guys. It was 71 degrees out here today. We've had 70-degree days pretty regularly the last 4 or 5, and my pond is still frozen.
It's been 50s and 60s.
At night.
At
in
night?
the 30s at night, yeah.
No, during the day it's been 50s and 60s.
No, today was 71. Yesterday was 69. The day before that 60s. Was 59. The day before that was 70. But it's been pretty warm, but I think it's amazing that that pond is still frozen. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but last week it was like below 10.
Yeah, wasn't long ago. Yeah, it's still frozen. Look at that. It's beautiful. It won't take long to thaw, I would think, but
I wouldn't walk on that.
I wouldn't walk on it either. Tip, if you vacuum seal your gauze, it takes up less space. That's
nice. Good tip.
Yep, Squatch, so we've been pushing 90 degrees and now expecting rain this week. I do not want 90-degree weather.
And where are they at? They're in Florida?
Oh, this is such a great question. Son of Hack says, are your swells far enough away from your cedars if you plant apple trees to avoid the cedar apple rust? Well, cedar apple rust will travel 2 miles, but so no, the short answer to that is no. But I'll tell you that the only apple tree species that I buy are things like Liberty, Freedom, Macintosh, Delicious, all of those breeds that are resistant to the cedar apple rust, because you're not going to avoid the cedar apple rust. It's 2 miles. So the short answer is no, but the long answer is I hope I dealt with that. Hopefully. Kima says, my father's side of the family is from Hawaii. My mother's side is from Alabama. Generations of farmers. Oh, cool. Very good. Jesus says, B, would you stop saying taxes, please? I'm trying to forget. I need to do them for a couple more days. Yeah, no doubt, huh?
I'd love to.
Yeah. Ryan says, our lab took a bath in the pond today. He's finally clean. Yeah. Yeah. Kima says, what state is that at? This is in Kansas. We live in northeast Kansas. Yeah. You guys can see the community building behind it. That's where we all gather quite often. And looks crooked kind of in that picture. It's level, I swear.
It does look crooked.
It does kind of look crooked. I'm surprised that Paradise Stanley hasn't popped up with that yet. But anyway, that's where we gather a lot. And
So did you build the pond crooked or the building crooked?
Nah, it's just from the where I took the picture. I just didn't take it straight on. The cool thing about a pond water bait is always level. Did you know that?
Right.
It's always level. Yeah, check this out. Here is the new pond we built last year. You guys remember we broke the dam and we let it sit for 2 years, and then we dug it out, built a new dam, and so this pond is now full, and this one's about 16 feet deep. Yeah, Paradise Stanley says, I think the cameraman is crooked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, interesting. Spain's Girl says, I went and filed for a homestead exemption here. They would only discount my share of the property, even though I am the one living here. Interesting. This pond right here has no fish in it. Like I said, it just got built, and we're going to let the dust and everything settle out of it for a little while and figure out what to do with it. But this is a big deal because this pond rests right between two paddocks where we can rotate the animals. And I am a really big believer in don't carry water. Absolutely don't carry water.
You could still see it has some frozen ice on top of it.
Yeah, this is the smaller pond. It melted a whole lot.
You can't see the pipe on that.
Yeah, it's right there. See it?
Oh, that's a tiny pipe.
Well, it looks tiny, but that's a 14-inch pipe. So it's not that little of a pond. Hey, Gregory, welcome in. Good to see you. David says, will there be fish in the pond? So I've got three. Before this pond, I had 3 other ponds. All of them have fish in them. This one doesn't yet, and I'm kind of debating on whether or not I want to put fish in it or not. I may just let it be a recreational pond and just leave it at that. You know how when we go swimming and everybody hates it, the little fish and munch on their hair.
I hate that.
So I may leave it. I don't know yet. We'll just have to figure that out as time comes. So this is actually a pretty small pond as compared to my other ones, but
I would bet that fish get put in there naturally.
Of course they will over time, but it will just take a long, long time. RN says, I just found out I do not pay property taxes on a home and a lot it sits on after 65 years. Yeah, how wonderful is that? There's a bunch of states now trying to get rid of, property tax. I wish mine was one of them. They're not yet, but I would really love it if they would,
Yeah.
I think property tax is the one tax that will stop us from ever being free. And it's the one thing that locks us into the system, because don't pay it and see what happens, right? Then you don't own anything. So I'd really like to see something happen. Really like to see something happen. Yeah, Jesus says, wait and see what fish show up. They will eventually. Oh, yes, they will eventually. The wildlife guy told me that what happens is that birds get them on their feet, geese and stuff get eggs on their feet. And that's how the fish end up in all of the ponds. But I guess we shall see, right? I think that's the last one on that.
Yeah, because our little pond,
yeah,
it only had a few inches of water in it, and it has fish in it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Psalm says, what kind of fish are native to your area? So my ponds have big mouth bass, black crappie, sunfish, bluegill, couple different kinds of catfish, grass carp, those kinds of things.
Minnows.
Yep. Yep. And that's what'll be in them now. And that's pretty much what we'll get in that top pond too, depending upon what they bring in. But so Sons of Hack says ducks can take care of the duckweed and the algae. I know, I just can't stand ducks. Yeah, we've had them, and I just,
They're so dirty.
They're messy, 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 messy.
And they poop everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. And Psalm says, same down here in Florida. That's interesting. Yeah, that's pretty much what we get. Now, when you get into the bigger lakes up here, you'll have things like, muskie or stripers or, walleye or, those types of things, gars. But you won't get those in, small ponds like this. Writes down, he says, hush your mouth. I love my ducks. I'm glad you love your ducks. I loved our ducks, just not that much.
Yeah. I had one girl and 5 boys.
Yeah.
And it was a bad ratio and a stinky problem.
Yeah. They're just completely messy. Last thing from the homestead is right now kind of what we're doing is trying to get ready for planting. And so we've been, I just want to show everybody, we've been in the garden, just trying to get it cleaned out. So this is just one little part of our garden. We grew tomatoes here last year. And if you guys remember, they grew completely up over the top of those arches. And she's got a bunch of these, but we're just trying to get all the old growth from last year out, any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, you want to talk anything about that?
No, I had the walking onions are coming back already. The garlic is coming back. Otherwise, everything else in here was, and there's black raspberries in the back of this garden, but everything else in here was needing to come out, just debris. So just take it out, put it in the compost piles, and hopefully we get you to push it a little bit throughout the year and get it to break down.
And Karen says, how do you get ponds to flow when elevation changes 220 feet between my town and the town 23 miles away? Here's the thing. You don't have to have a lot of drop, right? I mean, if it's going downhill, the water's going to run, right? That's just how gravity works. So, I mean, if you don't have a lot of flow and if you don't have a lot of runoff, it's hard to keep a pond full.
Right.
Right. So we've strategically.
You typically want your pond to not flow. You typically want your pond to hold water.
Well, yes, but you want all the land around it to flow. You wanted everything. You want to be able to fill those ponds constantly. And if you get them up on a flat spot, you'll just have a hard time. And I know there's a lot of people here in the live that I know personally that have ponds on pretty flat spaces, and they dry up a lot. It's just hard to keep enough water in them. My big pond has 42 acres of runoff. And so everything runs to that pond, which is why it never runs dry, right? And so anyway, I hope that answered your question. But Tamara says, I like turkeys better. I actually like turkeys a lot better too. Mosquito fish would take care of mosquito larvae. I don't know what a mosquito fish is, but we have lots of little fish that take care of them. Kaima says, my granddad used to put old Christmas trees in the lake. Christmas trees throughout the year. That's exactly what we did when we built our big pond. We had a professional fisherman and a biologist and some other people come out. And so we built habitat down inside the pond for all the different species. Psalm says, messy and loud. Guard goose for the chickens are good though. Yeah, we have geese. I can't stand them.
Guard goose.
But the good news is that they like Bee and she deals with them and I don't deal with them, so it doesn't really matter. But
yeah, Ryan and Lucy.
Yeah. Add fish with accumulate around them through the year. Yeah. We stocked our pond 2 years ago. Last time we stocked it.
Oh man, I don't know.
2 years. I think that's right. Hey, look at that. My buddy Indiana Mike's in the house.
Oh,
yeah, we were just talking about you. I don't remember what about, but we were. LJC, good to see you too.
Oh, because he was playing with some AI stuff.
Yep. Skanes Girl wants to know if you need any sweet potato slips.
I'd take a couple. I don't know if they're the same as what I have, but if they are not, I would definitely take a couple.
Get a cooler with an air pump, a cast net, and fishing poles, and go catch your own. Yeah, well, a buddy of mine who lives right across the street from me, that's how we got all our black crappie. Is he went fishing for black crappie and brought them home in buckets, and we dumped them in the pond. Because the place that stocks fish that we normally would buy fish from didn't have any black crappie, and so he brought me some really nice ones that ended up going into the pond. Yep, we're getting close to being ready for the spring. That is for sure, and I'm very, very excited about that. Gregory wants to know, did you seal the bottom of your pond? Well, no, because I didn't have to. One good thing about where I live, horrible for planting, great for building ponds, is my whole land is clay. We go to maybe 8 inches down, a foot down in most areas of my property, and you're through the topsoil, and everything else is big, hard, thick clay. So we don't, my big pond don't leak a drop. And it's now, in fairness, we dug it 21 feet deep, and then we put a 15-foot deep core trench in it. And then filled all of that, with clay and smoothed it all out and all of those kind of stuff. So I don't have any problems with
Way
that.
to professional do it.
Yeah. 86 to us, made alive. Well, welcome. I'm glad you made a live. I have not had a lot of people from X come on the lives. although I've been broadcasting to them for just a little bit, but I haven't had many come on. So really cool.
Is that 86? Is that R86?
I don't know if that's
86 US
Yeah.
to US.
Yeah. 86 is that
that
R?
you?
Yeah, is that R86 or is that a new 86?
Are you bug out?
Yeah. Yeah, Tamara says clay is terrible for building fences. Yeah, there you go. He says it's me.
It's me.
All right, cool. That's my buddy 86. We've been friends a long time. He is somewhere over the rainbow right now in a whole other country, in a whole other place, doing
Over
a
the
whole
rainbow. That's instant. That's like death.
No, he's on the other side of the sunset.
He's in another world.
Yep. Let's see here. Skane says yes, they are. Bardaman, MS is the sweet potato capital of the world. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Okay. Last thing, and then we'll get on to the good news. Sound good to everybody? Last thing I want to talk about, I had this exact slide last week. We are doing a Freedom Festival at my farm on July the 5th. And we've had some really good things come up recently. So we had a professional fireworks team contact us and offer to come out and put on a 20-minute show with according to music, like to go along with music, and then they're picking up the cost of not just their time but also of the fireworks.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's really cool. We're going to try to get some live music out here. Jess and Joe from American Roots, they'll participate and sing and play some music, and I'm sure we can get some other people, but we'll have a lot of fun. We'll eat a lot of food, and it will be a great time, and we'll celebrate the reason why all of us do the things that we do. You know, the reason I'm here today is because I'm trying to pursue that life done free, which is, again, why we call it life done free, right? And I'm trying to get freer every day. And so we're going to celebrate the victories of the community. There have been a bunch of them over this last year. And I'm sure between now and July, there'll be a bunch more.
Yeah.
But we'll celebrate, all of
God
those things.
willing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, what's Son say? Son the Hack says, we go down a foot of topsoil, 6 feet of clay, and the rest is loamy silt. I would love that. I don't have that. When we dug the pond, as I mentioned, we were 21 feet deep to the bottom of the pond, and then a 15-foot deep core trench, and really hit nothing but clay the entire way. So, yeah. Hey, Love Runs Rampant. Good to see you. It says barely made it. Spring weather is going away tomorrow, so too much to get done. Just got into watch. Well, cool. I'm glad you're here. You made it right at 1 hour and 2 minutes. You made it 50%. That's pretty cool, right?
Oh, because there's storms coming for a lot of people.
Yeah. Lots and lots.
They said basically the majority of the U.S., right?
Yeah. Yeah, but not us. We're going to get a little bit of colder temperatures. We're not going to get a whole lot with it, which would be good. But anyways, I invite all you guys, anybody that wants to come up in July, you're welcome to. Like I said, we're just going to eat and
enjoy music.
Enjoy music and watch fireworks.
Hang out with each other.
Enjoy freedom and laugh and joke and poke fun, and it'll be a great time. You want to get on to the good news?
Sure.
Guys, there's so much going on. I don't even know how much everybody follows it. I've spent a lot of time obviously following it, and it was funny. I built a good chunk of the live yesterday, and then I had to change it all because a whole bunch of new information came out. So I am always trying, to stay on top of it. Man, it's in the world we live in today. It just sure seems like it changes super fast. Psalm says, I'm going to try to come see y'all on July the 5th. Would love to meet you in the community. Well, you're more than welcome to be here. And if you need help making any type of arrangements, please let me know. I have lots of connections in lots of places. Please do. Skins Girl said, when is that tag? July the 5th is when we're going to do it. And I'll get a bunch of sponsorships. We'll get a bunch of things. We'll have a really, really good time. Free event. It's not anything like that. I'm not going to make any money on it. We're just going to party and really enjoy.
It's just a barbecue.
Yeah. Imagine a big old barbecue with fireworks and music and all that kind of stuff. So basically, we're going to throw a party.
Yeah. Right.
Lack of a better word, right? We're going to throw a party.
Maybe we should do something. Maybe we should do a barter town or something. Maybe we should do a
Yep.
something.
I think a big old barter town would be great.
or flea market.
Yeah. But as long as we, we got to stay away from the consumerism part of it. So that's why I like the Bartertown part.
Right.
Because it celebrates, all of those
Right.
kind of things.
Right. It's not. That
Yep.
makes sense.
Yep. Let me see here. Skane says, I'll be there. Yeah, cool. And we will be there too, right? All day. It'll be a good time. All right. So let's see what's going on. So you guys, I know you guys probably, or at least some of you guys are following the Epstein file stuff. So for a long, long time, Pam Bondi and everybody was saying, and I quoted one of the messages up here, a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information. It's pretty sick what they did. U.S. Attorney Pam Bondi getting ready to expose the Epstein list, and then they dumped the Epstein list, right? Robert Kennedy, just prior to dumping it, said, my prediction on the Epstein list is we all already know the horrible things he did. Other than that, it's going to be very underwhelming. I got a hold of the Epstein list. I've actually looked at it personally, and there's nothing there. It's completely redacted. And what's funny about what's redacted in it, and you guys can see in those little black boxes there on the screen, they blacked out addresses. But what's funny about it is the stuff they redacted is already public information. And as you can see on the right, that white piece of paper, that's what it is. It lists the name, like this guy here, Nick Adam. It lists his address, his phone number, and those kind of things. So that what they redacted out of it was the address and the phone numbers. But they did not release anything that has not already been publicly released. Nothing.
So these people's names
Mhm.
have already been out there?
They were part of the Giswell trial and,
Ghislaine.
whatever it is. And so it's already out there. I was very disappointed in this. Instead of just releasing all of the Epstein files to the public at once, the Trump White House decided to give the phase one of the files to a hand-picked group of influencers who are favorable to them. This is another thing that I found pretty interesting about it. Was they hand out these folders and, to these whatever influencers. These influencers are dancing around the front of the White House because they got the Epstein list and there was nothing in it. I mean, it's a complete nothing burger.
That's what these people are doing. That's what they're holding.
Yeah, those are the Epstein lists that they gave to him. Nito said, I'd love to attend if I can find my farm sitter. I'd love to see you. Terminator says, Tag, it's been weird the last 3 nights, 11:30 p.m. The power in several communities shut down. This last night, 10 hours with no explanation. We were waiting to see if it's going to happen again tonight. Yeah. Guys, I've said this a million times on my live. Energy is where it's at. Energy is going to be the biggest deal of the future. Get energy independent. Get energy independent now. Hey, Steve Hall, how are you? Yeah, Steve Hall says complete nothing burger, another betrayal by the administration. Phasing, it sure sounds fishy. Yeah, it absolutely sounds fishy. G. Johns, welcome in, by the way, if I didn't say hello already. The problem has been identified, right? So now what they're saying is that the New York office, not the New York office, the New York FBI office is withholding the rest of them, they're now saying. And Pam Bondi said to the Southern District of New York FBI and the Southern District of New York actually has the tapes and everything else and will not turn them over to the White House. If that is indeed true, then we have a civil war on our hands, an internal civil war. You have a duly elected president, his duly elected confirmed leaders of the FBI and the Department of Justice, and then you have the Southern District of New York. FBI and Department of Justice bucking the orders of the president and their direct bosses. There's no other way to describe it. So Pam Bondi went on to say that, hey, I'm going to demand from Kash Patel, the FBI director, that they turn them over by 8 a.m. in the morning, which was 8 a.m. this morning, by the way. And she was going to demand it. They were going to go take care of it. Nothing has been turned over as of 10 minutes before the live tonight, even though they said that it would. Representative Anna Paulina Luna, who I like, by the way, said, I nor the task force were given or reviewed the Epstein dockets being released today. A New York Post story just revealed that the documents will simply be Epstein's phone book. This is not what the American people asked for, and it's a complete disappointment. Let's get some comments in here. Epstein list would turn all the DC upside down. They're not going to release it. Trump and Elon were friends with him. Yeah, that's an interesting point, but I think there's another thing that's got to be said here. Just because you were on a client's list, you guys, I have a lot of clients, many over the years. right? When I was running a holding company, I had 12,000 that I dealt with personally, that I knew somewhat. But what they did behind closed doors, I would have no idea.
Well, yeah. How would you know what
Yeah.
they were doing?
He was a billionaire, so the amount of business that he would have done, there's going to be lots of that. I don't think being on his contact list makes anybody guilty of anything.
Well, and just like you, that you have clients, you have people that you interact with that you don't care what they're doing.
Well, if they were doing this, I would care. But
well,
but
right.
But the point is, I don't get into their personal life.
Who's going to tip off some of that?
Nostradamus said, maybe wonder if Pam and Cash set this up to flush out FBI, Department of Justice traitors, or is this just another government cover-up? Well, I hope your first part of that was true, and they just did it to set it up, because that would make me feel better, because right now I don't feel very good about all of this. Jen says, big fat can of empty platitudes. Yep. Mo says, bet we find out real data was shredded by now. Yeah. That's actually kind of what I'm betting on too. The New York office, field office, would not give Bondi the files. There's going to be trouble, I think. Well, I think this, Gregory, I think this really points out the divide in our country right now. And I'm going to talk about that a lot tonight, because there is a great divide. And, if it's true that directors of FBI offices, particularly this one in New York, if they are withholding evidence from the director of the FBI and the Department of Justice and the sitting president of the United States, that's pretty bold. I mean, that's treasonous almost, right? And if they're willing to do that, how much further are they willing to go?
What else is there? What else are they hiding?
Pam Bondi would have went after Epstein when she was Attorney General of Florida, and didn't back then, when all of this came out in 2013 and 2015. Yeah, and keep in mind, 2013 and 15, I mean, Trump was president back along that time too, right? I'm going to skip down, guys, a little bit. According to the AG today, they said a branch of the FBI did raid the New York office today, and they were seen taking truckloads of stuff out of there this morning. I pray that's true. Yeah. Let's see here. I think it's interesting. LJC says that Pam Bondi said she had the Epstein file on her desk last week. She didn't open it then to see most of the info wasn't there. Well, but she said several times that I have the Epstein files. They're on my desk, and it's alarming. I mean, she made testament to the fact that it was bad. Guys, I downloaded the whole thing. There's nothing on it. I mean, other than things that you can run with, you could say, okay, that Trump was there. You can say that, RFK was there. You can say that, Oprah Winfrey was there. You can do those kinds of things. But again, just because someone's in a Rolodex doesn't make them that they committed a crime. Yeah, they very clearly are withholding information. Yeah, and I'm pretty disappointed. Yeah, Starla said, no, Trump wasn't president in 2013 and 15. He announced in 15 and 1 and 16. Yes, but what I'm saying is, if the crimes were committed in 2013 and 2014, 2015, whatever it is, he was president in 2016, and nothing was done about it then. That was my point. Tamara says Texas Prepper 2 has the kind. They must be on a different conversation. Sorry, my bad. All right, moving on. So there it is. Bill Clinton has been officially named on the Jeffrey Epstein client list, says the news. Well, unfortunately, so has Donald Trump. And again, I don't think that being on this list makes you guilty necessarily of anything, right? I mean, again, it's just being on a client list. Shut down the SDNY office, fire everyone obstructing justice for victims, release all the real Epstein files, everything unredacted, no more BS. President Trump, AG Bondi, and FBI Director Cash are working hard to uncover the truth. Now it's time to deliver for the American people, and I could not agree more. See here, one more. Rock says, after her lying and poor judgment of the optics, I have zero trust in Pam Bondi. Yeah, this was disappointing to me. Cash also said he saw the files several months ago. Oh, good. Jen, I love you. You are on top of it. That is exactly correct. And I did not think of that. Yep. Jen, and if you guys look right there, Life with Mike and Jen, I quoted Jen in the top of this slide. It said they've had several years to redact the victim names and information. This is yet another case of dripping nonsense and hoping no one will notice. This doesn't need to be phased. Just do your freaking job. The American voters spoke. Now rip the bandage off. See, Jen, I told you I was going to quote you in the flag tonight, right? And again, Pam Bondi has ordered FBI Cash Patel to hand over all the Epstein documents being withheld by deep state staffers. And she said you have till tomorrow morning to do it, which was this morning. I have not seen anything. Laura Looper went on to say that I hate to say it, but the American people can't trust the validity of the Epstein files released today. It was released in an unprofessional manner with paid partisan social media influencers to curate their binders for us. I can't trust anything in the binder. Well, there's nothing in the binder, right? There's just nothing in the binder. If you look at the airport to airport on log with Donald Trump, did not flush it. I don't know what the last part of that is. Everyone gets participation, being apparently the one thing that absolutely ruined this country. Anyway. CIA versus Doge. Dug in deep. Operatives at the CIA are now publicly attempting to hold U.S. national security hostage. They're threatening to leak vital national security secrets to Russia if Elon Musk and Doge continue to cut funding to their international money laundering operation. And what they're really talking about is because they're cutting funding to the CIA is being pissed about it and saying that they can cause trouble as well. And I think Gregory said it absolutely perfectly, and that is that lines are being drawn and defined. This, you guys, is write this statement down from Gregory, because it is absolutely true. There is more divide today than there has ever been. And I'm going to tell you, it's not just in the United States, it's all over. Look at the riots and the protests that are going on all over Europe and in Russia. And I mean, just all over places, right? The lines are being drawn, and everyone's going to have to pick a side. Psalm says they're not going to release the true Epstein files because of the Mossad ties with Maxwell and Ghislaine incriminating Israel. Yeah, I'll be very disappointed. I really was really hoping it was going to be different, and still hoping it's going to be different. I mean, because I think there's a chance that what Pam Bondi said was true, which is she got duped too. But those types of answers will only hold weight for so long. Right? Well, Maroc says, I think the Epstein files will be the same as the JFK files. We will all be dead and gone if they ever release it. Yeah, Bondi could channel Hillary by saying the files got wiped. I'm afraid that's actually what's going to happen. So sad. Where else am I at here? Okay, let's see. Breaking: Boston, Chicago, Denver, New York City sanctuary mayors will be held publicly accountable on March the 5th. I'm going to talk a lot about March the 5th tonight. The first arrest will leave you stunned, says Barron Trump, sending shockwaves across the world. J.D. Vance says that Pam Bondi is set to charge AOC for allegedly helping illegal immigrants to avoid ICE. House Republicans have voted to charge Attorney General Merrick with crimes, and General Flynn sends a dark, mysterious message to disgraced FBI Director James Comey. Says, Jim, if you get this message, get ready. You're going to jail unless you give up someone bigger and deeper in this than you. Jim, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Under federal law, they were talking about how they have discovered that the reason why the whole ivermectin thing, and this is kind of related because we're talking about arrests and we're talking about lines being drawn, that Mr. Fauci could not, he had to downplay the successfulness of ivermectin, because if it was proven to be successful, you couldn't get the emergency use authorization for the pokey. Let me get some more comments here. Where are we at? I think I'm about right there. Psalms 125 is right. We won't interfere
with our frenemies.
With our frenemies. Tag, if the files go away, we're effed. I think we're effed anyway. Yeah, I think we're effed anyway, Brett. And I think I'm going to show a whole bunch of stuff later tonight. Kind of as we go through the slide that talks a lot about how those sides are being divided up. And, we're really being manipulated in this grand, game of reality TV. And the truth is we're not being told.
A soap opera.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. March 4th, 2025, the great revealing. Trump announced that he will be addressing joint Congress. Every member of Congress is told their presence is mandatory. This is a big deal, in my opinion. So Trump says he's going to be addressing the joint Congress, so both houses, and says everyone, it's mandatory that them and the media be there. I have never heard of a president saying he was going to address the both houses and that it was mandatory that they're going to be there. I don't know that he can actually say that.
Wouldn't they be there anyway?
No, most of those people are barely there to vote, So, well, I mean, it's just true, right? And don't forget that that's symbolic in a lot of ways, right? Because March 4th was the day set by our Confederation Congress in 1788 for our new government under our Constitution to begin operations. Our first Congress met on March 4th of 1789. President Trump will speak to the Congress on March the 4th. Cable TV news does not want you to watch. This will be happening in prime time. So I've been thinking a lot about, what in the world could this be? And I've talked about this a little bit on our live last night. But remember when Saddam Hussein took power, he did a big thing like this and called out the bad guys in the audience and had them arrested right there on the spot.
Huh.
And Trump definitely has kahunas. I'm sure at least some of you guys watched the stuff with Zelensky today, which I'll talk about in a little bit.
So you think that he's going to try?
I don't know. That's the thing about Trump. Trump's super unpredictable, right? So I don't have any idea, but I will be watching for March the 4th. I think this is going to be super interesting. Hey, Big B, welcome in. Yep, Steve Hall says, kabuki theater on every level. Trump is the head charlatan. Yeah, I think I totally agree. Caller warns Alex Jones, deep state may try to execute a false flag terrorist attack in New York within the next 24 hours to prevent the SDNY from turning over the rest of the Epstein files. There was also a big insurrection at the Iowa State Capitol. That's what they're calling it. I don't know that I would call it an insurrection, but there were lots of LGBTQ activists that stormed the Capitol. General Flynn also warned the deep state is extremely desperate and will try to stage false flag terrorist attacks to be blamed on President Trump and his supporters. And with all of that going on, we have the budget coming up here, and it's being reported on lots of sources that the Democrats are actually going to try to shut the government down next month instead of fund it. Remember how for years and years in the Biden administration, the argument was, we can't shut the government down. We can't shut the government down. You have to approve this spending. You have to approve this spending. We need this bill. We need this bill. Now it's the other way. And there's a lot of them saying that they would like to see it shut down. Lots of divide, right? Everybody agreeing? Comes with Brandon Gill. We're talking about immigration and immigrants. Says Democrats 160 years ago, if it weren't for slaves, who would pick our cotton, as they were quoted. Democrats today, if it weren't for illegal aliens, who would pick our avocados? Right? Mass migration undermines our cultural fabric and explicitly seeks to reduce American wages, says this person. Border czar Tom Homan, and you guys know I'm a little bit of a Tom Homan homer because I know him, and he has never shown me to be anything other than a guy who loves this country. He had a speech and they were talking about, his efforts, and he began the speech by saying, and I quote, "Look, let me start this off by saying, if I offend anybody here tonight, I don't give a shit." Quote. Let's see here. Also, people in Ireland have started burning down the immigration centers all over the place. There are lots of people in, not just in Ireland, but in Germany and Great Britain and in France that are beginning to take to the streets and beginning to fight back against some of these things. And it's also being shown more and more every day that the mass flood of immigrants into our country was done on purpose. It was not done to just give them a better home. It was done for political reasons. And I expect a lot more of this type of stuff to come out. Get to a couple comments here real quick. Ukraine. I'm going to get to Ukraine here in just a little bit. Let's see here. Please shut down the government. I'd go without my Social Security just to see the show. Yeah. The thing is that Social Security would never get shut down, right? They can't actually tell you what would get shut down because the government, the military is not going to get shut down. Any of the critical services aren't going to get shut down. G. Johnson, the divide is so large that 1% of lefties are shut down to all requests from the administration. Left is a lose-lose, and if they don't listen or answer simple questions, they will get ridiculed. What a mess. Let's see here. Did you guys see that Trump signed an executive order making English the official U.S. language? Wasn't it always?
I thought it was.
I would have assumed it was too.
Did they say what it was?
No, I was just shocked that it wasn't already. President Trump and Secretary Marco Rubio have secured the extradition of 29 top cartel leaders from Mexico for U.S. for prosecution. This is unprecedented. So they apparently negotiated with Mexico, and a lot of the cartel leaders that they already had locked up, they got them to extradite them to the United States, where they'll stand trial here and be locked up, obviously, for the rest of their life in, Leavenworth Penitentiary in Kansas or somewhere.
Guantanamo.
Yeah, somewhere. Trump signs new Dodge executive order mandating federal agencies implement a technology solution to review and cut all spending, track employee spending with clear identifications, and report to a Doge liaison. Yeah, so basically what he's saying is he's mandating everybody use technology to track the efficiency of the government. I support this. Although I will tell you that just like an AI, shit in, shit out, right? It's only as good as the information it's fed, just like any kind of technology. Sarah Huckabee Sanders said, I was the first governor in the country to kick communist China off our farmland and out of our state. Arkansas is going to continue to lead to put America first. Again, lines are being drawn. President Trump may issue executive orders banning all HOAs. I'm sure a lot of you in this audience would love this, right? No more homeowners associations. I don't know how he can do that. How can he say that 10 people can't get together and decide what they want in their neighborhood? I don't know. I don't have any idea. And then let's see here. Breaking President says he plans on signing an executive order making all sexual-based crimes against children a federal offense, carrying a mandatory death sentence. Yeah, and this is actually a pretty hot topic because I think almost everybody would say, yeah, but I don't think it's that cut and dry. And I'm certainly by no means, defending any of them. I have a buddy of mine who I've known a long, long, long time, who is a registered sex offender, and he is for life. When he was 17 years old, he met a girl, I think she was 14, and they've now been married 30 years. Just so you know, they have 4 kids together, still married to this day, but because of the age back then, he's a registered sex offender. So my question, I think I would ask everybody, does he deserve to be killed? Because you'd have a hard time getting me on board with that. Indiana Mike says military paychecks were on the chopping block a while back. Some of the banks stepped up to cover the pay gap. Yeah, Brett Boyd says this is all about the medals. Yeah, we're going to get back to that. That's a super important point. Yeah. Packrat says, oh yeah, I'm going to get to that stuff. I'm going to skip the comments on the Ukraine until I get to that slide. Oops. God the Son, Jesus Christ saves. Welcome in. Says the illegal flux was all part of the plan to break down the walls and the borders, setting up a one world government. I agree with this 100%. 100%. All right. Trucking. We're making good ground tonight. No?
You're right on top of it.
Okay. Speaker Johnson was quoted as saying Medicaid is for a single mother with small children who are just trying to make it. It's not for the 29-year-old male sitting on their couch playing video games. We're going to find these guys and we will send them back to work. What do you think about that? I don't see why it's a single mother that qualifies instead of a single father or a 29-year-old guy playing video games or a 29-year-old girl playing video games. I think it's a case of if they're capable, they should be working, and if they're not, they shouldn't, right? So I didn't particularly care for that. Elon Musk went on to say, at this point, I'm 100% certain that the magnitude of the fraud and the federal entitlements, which would be Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, welfare, disability, et cetera, exceeds the combined sum of every private scam you've ever heard of. by far. Musk says that his Doge team has now uncovered $100 billion in Medicare and Medicaid waste. Doubt that in the least. They did ask them if they were going to cut those kinds of things. And, Medicare, Medicaid, and Trump's been pretty firm on he will not unless there's abuse. But again, those words are red flags to me, because abuse according to whom? Who gets to determine that abuse, right? Those kinds of things.
Right.
What do we got here? Let's see here. Nito says there's also situations where one party or the other in a divorce uses those dirty games. Not always true. Also a great point. Great point. I am not defending, Epstein type behavior. And in fact, that stuff I don't think is curable. And if it is 100% that that's what happened, they should be punished severely. But again, death is a pretty severe punishment, I guess is what I would say. Looks like the Conservative Party in Germany has won. I don't know if you guys had seen this or not. From Donald Trump says, looks like the Conservative Party in Germany has won the very big and highly anticipated election. Much like in the USA, the people of Germany got tired of the no common sense agenda, especially on energy and immigration, and then prevailed in so many ways. This is a great day for Germany. What I thought was so crazy about that is the new German Chancellor, Merz, said that he wanted to get rid of all the illegal immigrants and restore Germany. And it was within 24 hours, he says, and I quote, "None of us want to close the border." So I think the German people got duped. That's what I think. It is also being reported in Europe now that military units are searching for George Soros, who is missing. And that actually came from Baron Trump. So pretty crazy, huh? More European news. So Stalmer from the United Kingdom in 2023 said, this conflict must end with the defeat of Putin. And then he comes to Washington, D.C., spends a little time with Trump. 2025, he says, thank you, Mr. President, for facilitating a peace deal. It's funny how it seems like a lot of world leaders are now groveling at Trump's feet. He is not a king. The UK party is with you today and every day, from His Majesty the King to NHS workers. That's why I signed out 100-year pledge to Ukraine. Russia's economy is trouble. Funny how the moment that Trump begins initiating peace talks, the globalist deep state shills start panicking, calling emergency meetings to protect their money laundering schemes. Amidst being totally humiliated and sidelined, the European Union puppets are making all the efforts to stay relevant. These clowns are creating a tribunal to prosecute Putin. So basically, the European Union is trying to create a tribunal that's going to try to prosecute Putin. Europe just approved a $3.5 billion payment to the Ukraine, again, to continue to fund the war. Many of the European leaders want to continue down this process as America looks to, or Trump looks to, back out of it. Again, this is creating that divide, right? And we're going to talk a lot about the Zelensky thing here on the next couple slides. Trump did humiliate Stalmer when he was in the office. I don't know if you guys seen this or not, but they were talking back and forth, and Trump looked over and said, could you take on Russia by yourself? And everybody in the room started laughing, which is the one thing I don't particularly like about Trump. But Vladimir Putin says, they invented the Russia that wants to attack NATO. Have you completely lost your minds? Dumb as this table. It's nonsense. It's utter rubbish. It would be rubbish if it wasn't a plan just to trick their own population by saying, oh, help, Russia's going to attack soon. We must arm ourselves urgently. Send weapons to the Ukraine. In reality, it is done to preserve their own imperial standing and might. Look at NATO's potential and Russia's potential. Did you decide we're crazy or something? He went on to say, let's not forget, he's referring to World War II, that the Americans, the English, lost 200,000 and 400,000 troops. And that at Stalingrad alone, 1.1 million Russian soldiers died. And he goes on to say, how many were in Great Britain? 400,000? Less than 500,000? 80% of the entire potential of Russia was destroyed by Germany was destroyed by the Red Army of the Soviet Union. Have you forgotten or what? Which I would say is a direct threat. Right? He goes on to say that the world is rapidly changing. Let me note that the first contacts with the new American administration still hope. They too are willing to work towards resuming our ties, solving the colossal amount of strategic problems in the world's architecture. I think it's interesting that everyone's saying Trump's behind Russia, but has anybody seen Trump remove a single, not tariff, sanction? Has anybody seen him remove any of the sanctions on Russia? No, I have not. Lavrov said Russia hadn't agreed to peacekeeping forces in the Ukraine because everyone's talking about putting troops in the Ukraine, and that there would be no ceasefire along the current combat line. Lavrov is directly contradicting the initiative and statements of U.S. President Trump about a ceasefire and peacekeepers in Ukraine. Can this be called Russia wanting peace and being ready to negotiate? I don't think so. And I think what happened, I'll talk about this in the next slide. I think what happened with maybe the next one after that, with Zelensky today makes it where it was either a very bad play, I think, on Trump's part, or unless he obviously knows a whole lot that I don't know, but because I think what happened today just empowers Putin. Two nuclear powers, Russia and North Korea, are at war with Ukraine, the country that was disarmed by the nuclear powers, including the U.S. and Britain, in exchange for security guarantees. So back in the day, if you guys remember, Europe and America came to Ukraine, and in an effort to keep them from being a nuclear power, said, hey, we'll give you security guarantees. And now we're not giving them the security guarantees that were promised back then. I've said this on my live many times. Anybody that doesn't know, go Google U.S. military bases around Russia, and what you'll see is there's nowhere for them to retreat to. Right? There's nowhere for them to go. So it's kind of, gets to a point where you kind of got to stand a little bit. War Monitor went on to talk about how the U.S. spent trillions of dollars to prepare for war with Russia, trillions, and now has spent $68 billion of military aid to Ukraine and degraded the whole Russian conventional military severely. That's a pretty good deal, if you ask me. See if I can get this here. So you guys know about the minerals deal, right? So Trump said that, here we go. We'll let LJC say it. Lindsey Graham wanted the minerals from Ukraine, and that's what Trump was asking for. Therefore, Lindsey will get what he wants. Backs Trump. Yeah. So basically Trump says, give me your rare earth minerals, because in America, we don't have a lot of them, his words. And Ukraine has a lot of them, but we have a lot of oil and other things. And so he was hoping to have a deal in place, and in fact was saying that there was already a deal in place, and Zelensky was going to come sign it. Trump went on to say it was a great deal for Ukraine too, because they get us over there. We're going to be working over there. We will be on the land. Think about what he just said right there, right? And as you know, in that way, this is sort of automatic security, because nobody's going to mess around with when our people are over there. So is he saying that if he signs the deal for the rare earth minerals, that we're going to put boots on the ground? Now, they later tried to clarify and say, no. What we're talking about is engineers and architects and scientists and, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, he said right there, we will be on the land. Russia made it crystal clear they refuse to return any of the annexed Ukrainian land in any so-called peace deal. So they're also drawing a line. I think the biggest part of this whole thing is simply that Trump said we're going to have our people on the ground if they sign the deal. And so we went into a meeting today with Zelensky with the idea that we would put boots on the ground of some kind. Soldiers, maybe not. Oops, I bumped it.
Yeah, you went too far.
Yep. So Vladimir Putin says Russia is ready to supply the United States with 2 million tons of aluminum, which helps stabilize prices. You know what I find fascinating about this is anything that we can get from Russia. So like aluminum, for example, we can also get from Canada, and we can get it from Canada much cheaper. And yet Trump is tariffing Canada and saying Canada should be the 51st state. Maybe this is all just a ploy for the aluminum. Maybe this is all just a ploy for those kinds of things. Trump, I'm hoping you guys have watched it. If you have not watched it, I would really, really encourage you guys to go watch the conversation with Trump and Zelensky from today, because it was just a shit storm. I was disappointed. I was happy and disappointed. We'll talk about both.
What, Zelensky or Putin?
Zelensky, the leader of Ukraine. Trump told Zelensky to shut his mouth. No. You've done a lot of talking. Your country's in big trouble. You're not winning. You have a damn good chance of coming out of this okay because of us. If you guys watched it, it went back and forth. It was very heated. And, I appreciate that Trump stands up for the country, but it sure seemed to me that he wanted to pick a fight too. When Zelensky got out of the car to meet him today, Zelensky was the only person there that was not in a suit. And Trump greeted him with, "Oh, I see you dressed up today." So he kind of poked on him right from the beginning. Then they had about a 40-minute conversation. And then Zelensky had a comment about how the trouble's coming from you someday and you're going to feel it. And then Trump kind of lost his temper. He went on to say, this is Trump speaking, we had a very meaningful meeting today in the White House today. Much was learned that could never be understood without the conversation under such fire and pressure. It's amazing what comes out through emotion. And I have determined that President Zelensky is not ready for peace if America is involved, because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations. I don't want advantage. I want peace. He disrespected the United States of America in its cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he's ready for peace, and kicked him out of the Oval Office. He actually sent him away. They were going to do a joint press conference today, and he booted it. They were going to sit down and have lunch today, and he fed Zelensky's lunch to his staffers and kicked Zelensky actually out of the White House. Yeah, absolutely crazy. Yeah, Packrat says it, the Jerry Springer summit. I was disappointed in it. I mean, I was disappointed that, one, you're the leader of the most powerful country in the history of the world. And I think you have to hold yourself to a higher standard and Zelensky clearly got under Trump's skin, right? Because he kind of, flipped out over it. But I think there's another really big side to this. Why would you negotiate with Zelensky in front of the media, which then empowers Russia? Right? That to me just makes absolutely no sense. I would have negotiated and had this big heated conversation behind the scenes, and then I would have come out in a position of strength against Russia, to say, hey, we made a lot of ground, blah, blah, blah.
He probably thought that it would go different. Don't you think?
Yeah, but you got
that?
Yeah, but you got to be able to control yourself, babe. Right? I mean, you just can't let loose.
You think Trump let loose right there?
Oh, he did. Did you?
Oh, I didn't hear.
He did. It. He clearly was mad, and he was, shut up and listen. You listen to me, and he completely disrespected Zelensky. Now, in fairness, Zelensky was rolling his eyes, being kind of a pompous ass. And I think that's really what set Trump off, is that he makes a kind of a sly comment about, that's okay. If you don't help us, trouble will come to you someday anyway. And kind of got the whole argument started. But again, as I mentioned before about the whole suit comment, it sure seemed to me like Trump started it. He kind of started with a little bit of a shitty, attitude. And Charlie Kirk went on to say the White House press conference with Zelensky and President Trump has now been canceled. Okay, Kerry Davis says, this is important. I disagree. The little man needed to be exposed. Yeah, but at what cost? See, the thing is, Kerry, is that Zelensky can't do anything to us. He's not a threat to us. But by exposing him and by showing the divide between him and all of that stuff, you empower Russia. Right? And so I would be careful. If I was the leader, I would have done that behind the scenes. And I would have not empowered a big, gigantic army that I've had a lot of trouble with over the last few years, Maybe Trump again, I'm sure he knows something I don't know. Right? I'm not the president, right? But I'm fairly disappointed in that. I would expect more out of a leader. And I can equate this to business. You guys know I've run a lot of companies. I would never act like that.
Did you say it was hard to watch it?
Yeah,
Was that you?
Kind of make you a little bit uncomfortable. I mean, it was definitely testy. But I would never walk into a boardroom and do that in front of them.
Right.
I would never walk into an employee meeting. That's right. I pull somebody aside, and that's how we have our thing.
Yeah.
But let's get some comments because I think there's
disagreements.
Yeah. Psalms 125 says Zelensky from drag queen comedian to president dictator. How and who put Zelensky in office? Well, they'll tell you he was elected, right? He did show the world how Z thinks, though. Yeah, that's true. But at what was that worth it? showing the world how he thinks and then emboldening and empowering Russia. I don't know. Zelensky has made bank of the wars. Yes, he's made a lot. You know, he's bought ski resorts and all kinds of stuff as his people died. I'm not saying Zelensky's a good guy. I'm not at all. All I'm saying is you got to play chess. This isn't checkers. You're talking about World War III in the world front. You're talking about the biggest game ever. And it seems to me like Trump was playing checkers and not chess. I wouldn't have empowered Russia. But it's okay. I mean, we can disagree on this. Not a big deal, right? I'm not disappointed in Trump or Vance. They both stood up. The fact of it is that Zelensky disrespected all of us. True. And Zelensky started shouting first. True. And we have spent lots of money in the country. All true. Again, at what cost? Right? I mean, so a little bit of an ego boost, or because I guarantee that the Trumpsters, right, that the MAGA warriors out there will love what he did right here because he stood up for America. And I actually appreciated he did too. When they asked him what side he was on, he said, I'm on the America side. Right? I love all of this. I just think that there was a better way to do that, and I would have handled it differently. I believe it has a lot more to do with transparency. Also, Z has tried to appeal to the U.S. citizens. Dina Randell says, I saw it differently. I felt Z started it by disrespecting the U.S. and the president and the billions we've given him. I would not disagree with you, Dana, that he disrespected the president, the White House. He was cocky. He was all of those things. I'll leave it at that. Dana says, we spend lots of money for his wife to shop. Yes, she loves shopping in Paris. Yep, God's son, Jesus Christ saves, says, I'm tired of our money going to crime lord Zelensky. I am as well. How many houses does he have now? 4, I think, that I'm aware of. Doesn't it all seem like a crappy TV show? It does. It does. I'll see you're empowering Russia and raise you a Russia is fighting the same globalists we are. I think we are going to end up on Russia's team before long. As weird as that sounds. Ryan, that doesn't sound weird at all. I've been saying for a long time on this channel that I think the Russian collusion thing with Trump very well is real. And maybe Putin and Trump and maybe even Xi Jinping, whoever, have come together to try to fight the New World Order and try to fight the deep state and those kind of things.
Because it would take
that. You're talking about the biggest war ever fought, ever in the history of the world. And so it would definitely take a partnership like that. So Ryan, I actually don't think that's that off at all. And I think articulately make the argument that that's the case. I think I can make the argument it's not too, but Jen says the old bummer installed Z. Yeah. Tag, I agree. If they lightly disrespect you at a board, you wait till later. But if they shit in the middle over the table, next Z shit. Yeah. If somebody yelled at me in a boardroom, I would probably quickly bark back and say, let's go have this conversation out of here. But I would not allow it to drag on in front of a whole bunch of cameras and that, because there's other things at risk. You're risking the reputation of a company. You're risking the reputation of the other board members or the employees. There's a lot of things you've got to think about. And I'm not going to get in a screaming match with somebody at a boardroom. We can disagree. That's completely different. Packrat says he boosted Russia and we and Russia natural enemies. I don't know. I mean, if you read the news, we're the natural enemy of Russia. But which side has the news been on? Love runs rampant says it's just very juvenile, the whole conversation, if that's what it was. Trump had to show strength, and Trump told him how it was, peace through strength. Yeah, but did he show strength, Starla? Because what he showed me is a little guy got under his skin and he barked at him. I don't know. Ukraine has been a money laundering scheme for the U.S. Totally agree. As well as a place to have their gain of function research. Again, agreed. Since it was illegal here. Yeah, I agreed with all of that. Again, I am not defending Zelensky. Zelensky's a scumbag. More what I'm saying is I would expect the leader of the free world to hold themselves to a different standard. That's all, right? Let's see. Starla says Zelensky, MP of Ukraine, has already started an impeachment process. Yep, I got next slide will show that. I do agree that with Trump that the killing needs to stop. I agree with that as well. Yep, I agree with that as well. So we're getting into those topics here. Let me get rid of that. Interesting that right after Zelensky left the meeting with Trump, he tweeted this out, and it says, an important visit to the United States and Washington. I met with a bipartisan delegation from the U.S. Senate. Our discussions focused on the continued military assistance for the Ukraine, relevant legislative initiatives, my meeting with President Trump, efforts to achieve a just and lasting peace, our vision for ending the war, and the importance of a robust security guarantee. So this, if someone wasn't really watching close, I think what you would think happened right here is that he went and met with the Democratic Congress away from Trump, trying again to negotiate. Now, I don't know if this happened or it didn't happen, but I did find it interesting that people right away were saying, why is Zelensky posting fake videos? He wasn't there today. Wasn't that in Ukraine when our senators went over there? And so I think this was a little bit of a sham job. Again, we'll have to see. Lindsey Graham went on to say that he's one of the most pro-Ukraine U.S. senators, that America's witnessing what we saw today would not want Zelensky to be in their business partners, including me. I've never been more proud of Trump for showing the American people and the world. Yeah, I don't know. And again, I think Jen was talking about this earlier. If I remember right, if it wasn't Jen, I apologize if I'm quoting it wrong, but was talking about how they just want the rare earth minerals.
Okay.
You know, we've been talking about for years on this channel about future wars are going to be fought over resources, which is why you go get energy independent, which is why you go get food independent, which is why you go get water independent, which is why you go do those things for yourself, because these things continue to go on. I also find it fascinating that Trump invaded Russia partially for those resources, right? Now, he also wanted Odessa, and he also wanted, you know, the ports and those kind of things. But a lot of it, he wanted the wheat and he wanted the rare earth minerals and that. And now Trump's negotiating for the exact same thing. So you got Russia and Trump trying to pillage Ukraine of its natural resources. I find that interesting. Brett Boyd says, tag, I can't see China being part of the three-party to kill one world order. Putin, yes. Trump, for sure. Yeah, I'm not sure China's in it either, but it would not surprise me if I found out, or if, you know, we found out that Trump had been working with any of these other leaders in order to get help and support to tackle the deep state. That just absolutely would not surprise me. Also, isn't making your opponent uncomfortable part of his art of the deal? He just did that the other day with the Prime Minister of France, squeezing his hand very hard in front of the cameras, making him grimace. Maybe that's part of his tactics, but
That's kind of bullying, isn't
but
it?
that's the thing. I've been negotiating for a lot of years, and I'm going to tell you the best deals I ever put together were deals where both parties felt like they got a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I walked away from the deal going, man, I got the way better deal. At the end of the day, if both parties said, hey, I like this deal, that's the great deal. I never try to use intimidation to do it. I don't know. I just think it's
important to you for your person to feel as though they got
Yes.
a deal as well.
yes. Gregory says, has China said anything about this mess? I have heard nothing from them. Yep. Jen says that's why they want Greenland as well. Yep. Well, part of the Greenland thing I also think about a lot, Jen, which, by the way, is Mario with you tonight? But the other thing I think about that a lot with like Greenland. You know, Trump is really good at asking for 100, knowing he only really wants 5. And what I mean by that is I could see him saying, we want Greenland, we're going to buy Greenland, we want Greenland, you know, we want Canada to be the 51st state, we want, when really what he wants is a military base in Greenland. Or really what he wants is Canada to lower its you know, tariffs. But he's asking for the world so that everyone feels like they got something. You know. Psalms 125 says, I'm not too happy with how Trump handled himself. Snide remarks and anger shows weakness and a lack of lack of tact and professionalism. See, this is my point right here.
Mm-hmm.
I think I totally agree. I think that when you're the leader of the most powerful country in the history of the world, you kind of got to be above a lot of that, you know, I think. Now, I have to admit to you guys, it was kind of fun for me watching Zelensky squirm and Trump get pissed, because that's the first time I've ever seen him do that.
Trump.
Yeah, like he clearly got angry, you know. So
Did you watch any of the Apprentice shows?
any of the Apprentice shows? No, not
Mhm.
really.
Didn't he get mad in them?
I don't remember, but I don't watch any of them. So how would I know?
I didn't know if you.
Mm-mm. Yeah, we have taught the world how to farm, and now they don't need the bread basket, and our farmers are going broke, and corporate farming is coming. Yeah, there needs to be some big changing in the farming world. There absolutely needs to be, and RFK has said that he will do exactly that. He's going to make some of those changes. Packrat says, go back and find the article where Biden greenlit another $1 billion for Zelensky, and Z just kept outlining more once without breaking stride. Biden said he could be a bit more grateful. Yeah, guys, I am not arguing this at all. I think that Zelensky was a punk. He actually called the vice president a bitch in Ukrainian language, and they caught him on a hot mic. But I don't know. I still think the president should be held to a higher standard. That's what I think. 86 says Zelensky's a weasel and he is in trouble. Oh, he's in big trouble. He's going to sign the deal with the United States for the rare earth stuff, because if he doesn't, Russia will own Ukraine. He's going to lose his entire country. So he's in a spot now. And President Trump was right. He's got no negotiating cards. He's at a Trump now.
He's going with one of them.
He's going with one of them. So he's either going to side with Putin or he's going to side with Trump. Because the fact of the matter is, Europe, and to all my European friends, no disrespect intended, but they don't pack a big enough punch. They don't have enough. It's Europe just scrambled to come up with another $3 billion for the Ukraine. When America scrambled to come up, it was $300 billion. Right? They're just not enough. They say there's no substitute for cubic inch. Well, in the case of geopolitical warfare, there is no substitute for cubic inch. Let's see here. Life Done Free. No, he never got mad on his show that I saw. Yeah. Lover on Dram said, pride is a hard demon to see. Leviathan says, to stay hidden. It's hard to keep your cool when you think someone is trying to treat you down. I don't know if that's it, but well, it is. And I've been in meetings, and there's people in this Zoom, this meeting right here tonight, who have been in meetings with me where I snapped back at somebody because somebody snapped at me or whatever it was, but I'm not going to sit there and argue with them. It'd be a knock it off. We'll talk about this some other time or whatever it is. And that'll be the end of it. Again, I just think we should expect more from our leaders, and not just leaders of the president, guys, leaders of the family, right? Leaders of a company, all of those kinds of things. Yeah. Starlet says he did call Vance sucker. Yeah. Which is, as I understand, bitch. But yeah, Brett Boyd says the European Union is not going to dig into the old money to fight wars. They are smarter than that. Yeah, there is no way Zelensky gets out of this unless he negotiates with the United States, which is why, which I think is on the next slide, which is why they are already talking about impeaching him and getting rid of him. Clandestine said, I don't know if I've ever seen someone be kicked out of the White House before, let alone a world leader. Zelensky just got spanked and humiliated in front of the entire world. J.D. Vance starts laughing at President Zelensky when he is asked by a reporter why he's not wearing a suit in the Oval Office. Good question. It was funny. Zelensky answered the question that he owns them, and I quote, I will wear a costume when this war is over, which is completely disrespectful to all of the people in that room wearing a suit. Right? He referred to their as a costume. Yeah. President Macron instantly starts talking about how we all just need, to kind of get along. Moving right along. Let me see here. Who was that? Yep. Ukraine is Europe. We stand by Ukraine. Europe starts commenting about how they're going to back Ukraine. But again, they won't be able to. Right? If without the United States in there, I don't say, maybe I'm wrong. If someone disagrees, please tell me. But if America's not defending Ukraine, Ukraine will never last against Russia. I don't see. Anyway. Let's see. And then right after he kicks him out of the White House, J.D. Vance comes out and says President Trump has officially halted all weapon shipments to Ukraine. Trump now claims and then Trump, which blew me away. I still don't get this. Right after that, Trump comes out and says now he claims he will liberate Mariupol for Ukraine. So now he's saying he's going to liberate it. What a mess. I'm looking for we're getting late here. There's another slide in here I really wanted to talk about. Right there, the Russian delegates. Oh, nope, that's not it. Anyway, they, as they mentioned it earlier in the talk here tonight, that right away the Ukrainian prime minister came out and said that they will call an emergency meeting and begin the process of impeaching President Zelensky, which is crazy. Real quick here, tag, quick question. Hubby wants to know what the voltage is on the batteries. 48 volt. Yep, you got it. Yeah. Hey, M, how are you? Welcome in. Says he wears a costume every time he wears fatigues. Yeah, he shows up in an army uniform and then makes fun of everybody in suits and refers to him as a costume. And guys, I'm not defending Zelensky. I can't. He was a pompous ass, you know, and I actually would not have I am not a bit upset or anything about him kicking Zelensky out of the White House, because that's probably the appropriate action. You know, look, you want to be a butthead, get out of here. You know, go bother somebody else. I just don't like how the whole thing, you know, the whole thing went down. But I think what this does do is really talk about how we are on the verge of big trouble. You guys look at the things that happened in World War I. You know, World War I was started by the assassination of the Archduke Ferdinand, right? And there was lots of tension, lots of these little things, but it was that one little spark that sent the entire world into World War. You know, a lot of people think that Trump rosying up, this is their words, to Putin makes us safer. I would argue we're closer to World War III now than we were then. You know, there are huge divides, you know, across our country. And so, you know, I'm not a bit confident in that all of this is just going to settle down and Trump's going to, save the world. And I can prove it to you guys. I can prove it to you because Trump told Secretary of State Marco Rubio that this was a done deal, that he was going to sign the contract. You guys probably heard it on, you know, many news sources, Trump saying that this is a done deal. We got the deal done. He's going to sign over his rare earth. And look what happened. It didn't happen. So I am not convinced that. I'm also not convinced that all of this isn't just a ploy because President Trump knows there's trouble ahead with Russia. And so what he's trying to do is take care of America. You know, I don't know. Ryan says this is the big trouble on the surface. The real trouble isn't even being talked about with all the showmanship. I perfectly said, and I absolutely could not agree more. Let's see, it's at 2 hours. I'm gonna see if there's anything super important in here that I wanted to cover with all you guys. Nah, I think I'll just leave it right there. We'll get you out of there. There's about 6 or 7 more slides maybe in there, but we'll do it another day.
6 or 7.
Yeah, whatever it is, because it's already 2 hours and 1 minute, and you know how I am, right? Our lives are from 7 to 9 p.m. That's what they are.
Be a bum.
Yeah, they don't want to be a bum. But hey, before we get out of here tonight, what do you want to talk? What got anything you want to leave these fine people with tonight?
Yeah, I was going to say to get, the spring is here. It's time to get planting. Get planting as soon as possible if you haven't started yet. Days are turning into weeks quickly, and then we're in a new planting season before you know it. We're already in March.
Yeah, babe, I think it's what's the beautiful thing about what you said. I'm going to interpret it through the prepper eyes and through, my eyes, which is, stay the course. Just because, Trump says that Putin's his buddy or Putin says that Trump's his buddy, Putin came out on the news and the Russian news today and said, although he's hopeful with some of the things that went on with Russia, with America, he's still very cautious and that, it could still be trouble, blah, 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 blah. And that, we need to continue to stay the course in this life, go out there, protect yourself, look for the threats, isolate yourself from the threats. There's a lot of ways to go out there and do that. Become energy independent, right? Right. Just do it, become water independent. Guys, this doesn't mean you have to flip the switch and do it tomorrow. Do something, right? Go buy a small portable solar generator. I'm happy to sell you one at Grid Down, but I don't care. Just go buy one somewhere, right? Whatever it is, go get a little bit energy dependent, get a little water independent, get a rainwater storage thing set up. If you can't grow a garden, grow something on a back patio. Just do something, put one step in front of the other. Don't lose hope. It's not too late, but we've got to stay the course. We'll see everybody on the next one.
Be out.
Yep. Tag out.
Hold the line.